Hey folks, it's December 19th, which means happy birthday to my dad. Saved myself another birthday card. Ha ha. Anyhow, can't tag him because he's not on Facebook. However, we can still have a reading of chapter 19 of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So let's have at it, okay? Let's smooth that a little bit. Thank you. Okay. Chapter 19. They scarcely seemed to enter the city, for the city rather seemed to spring up about them and encompass them on its own. But there they were, in the heart of it. The spirit stopped beside one little group of businessmen. Observing that the hand was pointed to them, Scrooge advanced to listen to their conversation. "No," said a great fat man with a monstrous chin. "I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead." "When did he die?" inquired another. "Last night, I believe." "Why, what was the matter with him?" asked a third. "I thought he'd never die." "God knows," says the first with a yawn. "What has he done with his money?" asked a red-faced gentleman. "I haven't heard," said the man with the large chin, yawning again. "Left it to his company, perhaps." "He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know." The pleasantry was received with a general laugh. "It's likely to be a very cheap funeral," said the same speaker, "for upon my life I don't know of anybody to go to it." "Suppose we make up a party and volunteer?" "I don't mind going if a lunch is provided," observed the gentleman with the red face. "But I must be fed if I am to attend." Another laugh. "Well, I am the most disinterested amongst you, after all," said the first speaker, "for I never wear black gloves, and I never eat lunch. But I'll offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think of it, I'm not at all sure that I wasn't his closest friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Bye-bye." Speakers and listeners strolled away and mixed with other groups. Scrooge knew the men and looked towards the spirit for an explanation. The phantom glided on into a street. Its finger pointed to two people meeting. Scrooge listened again, thinking that the explanation might lie here. He knew these men, too. They were men of business, very wealthy and of great importance. He had made a point always of standing well in their esteem, in a business point of view. That is, strictly in a business point of view. "How are you?" said one. "How are you?" returned the other. "Well," said the first, "Old Scratch has got his own at last, hey?" "So I'm told," returned the second. "Cold, isn't it? Seasonable for Christmas time. You're not a skater, I suppose?" No, something else to think of. Good morning." Not another word. That was their meeting, their conversation, and their parting. Scrooge was at first inclined to be surprised that the spirit should attach importance to conversations apparently so trivial. But feeling assured that they must have some hidden purpose, he set himself to consider what it was likely to be. They could scarcely be supposed to have any bearing on the death of Jacob, his old partner, for that was the past and this ghost's province was the future. Nor could he think of anyone immediately connected with himself to whom he could apply them. He looked about in that very place for his own image, but another man stood in his usual corner, and though the clock pointed to his usual time of day for being there, he saw no likeness of himself among the multitudes that poured in through the porch. It gave him little surprise, however, for he had been revolving in his mind a change of life, and thought and hoped he saw his newborn resolutions carried out in this. Quiet and dark beside him stood the phantom, with its outstretched hand. It made him shudder and feel very cold. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is chapter 19. Please join me again tomorrow, a little earlier tomorrow hopefully, for chapter 20 of Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Thank you and good night.